Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's WREXtra time. I am Paddy Power, and this is the local pundit. We have just finished another match, the last match of the year, this time with Preston North End for the third time of the season and last. Thank God we've seen enough of Preston, and this time we have seen it home and took out the win 2-1. It was an interesting match. First half was fantastic. Attack, attack, attack. But the second half, we had a couple of issues and had to go and defend, but we did defend. We made some substitutions and they linked and scored another goal. So we have lots to talk about tonight. So tonight is WREXtra time. If you have never been here before, what we do is I give you the opportunity to jump in with me tonight, have a bit of a conversation, talk about what you want to talk about. So first up, I'm going to drop the link into the chat. And you can come and join me. The link will drop you into the background and I will bring you in as quickly as I can. There is a little private chat there as well if you want to send a message while you're in the background, because I cannot hear you while you're sitting out in the background. So link to show. Here we go. Boom. Link is in the chat. Right, let's see who's here. We have 50 people watching already in the first minute. That is fantastic. Everybody's happy tonight, I'm sure. And if you're not, you can still come on and say hello. And I'm waiting for a pal to jump in who's a Preston North End fan. I invited him before the match. I said, win or lose, I'd like to see you in the chat tonight. So let's hope he turns up. But first up, Tommy. Tommy says that the Birmingham manager got a double yellow and he is sent off. Yes, I can see the match there on my second screen. It is currently at 91 minutes just crossed. They have 5 minutes extra time to play, so 4 more left. And it is still 1-1. And that is how I want it to stay. That will actually be a good result for us if it stays there. So I will show the results and I will show, what will I show? I will show the leaderboard once that match is complete, because the leaderboard is starting to look nice. I like it. I like it a lot. In the words of Jim Carrey. So Habsification is here. He says that was a good game. However, Habs is sitting in the background. So Habs, first caller, as usual, long-time caller, long-time listener. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I would show my face, but
You're fine.
No, it's just I was trying to sort it out, but my camera just seems to be having some issues today. I'll get it on next time, don't worry.
No problem. You're welcome again, buddy. So let's just have a quick look through the chat there. Okay, sorry.
I've been commenting a lot.
No bother. I'm actually looking for everyone else's comments, so let's see. Loads of comments here. I'll try and get you. Actually, I'm going to throw the comments on again. Boom, there we go. Comments are up on screen. Okay, I'm going to leave your comments out because we're going to talk about it. Lamar says, great game. It was a great game because we came away with the points. That's the big one that matters. But otherwise, actually, it was still a good game anyway. Habs, loads of comments. Look at this. The 3-4-3 is really starting to work. I agree. We will talk about that. Lamar, last 2 games with 3 up front, we look much more dangerous. Absolutely. Who is this? This is J Tekosnik 007. Good thing they had a 2-goal lead, or else a draw would have felt like a loss. Yep. You know, that second goal actually saved their ass. And we're definitely going to talk about that second goal because that was an interesting play. Andrew C, why am I a nervous wreck when we sit back and play defensive? Well, we kind of had no choice for a few minutes because they threw the kitchen sink at us. We just had to take it. You can't always control a match. It's not exactly like you can just say this is what's going to happen, because the other team do have a say about it as well. But no, you're not the only one who feels like they're taking bullets as the match is going as well. Okay, Wayne Evans is already agreeing with you. A combination of fatigue and them lifting We were on the ropes, but we still kept attacking when we could. Yes, I do think we generally kept that foot down as much as we could. As I said, you can't always keep the foot down. It's just not possible because you get countered. Maral says, good game. Yes, Maral, were you there? Are you already home, or did you miss out on tickets for this one? Billy Glossy says, what's up with Ratbone? We can talk about Ratbone. I'll star that for later. So make sure we talk about it. Here's our pal Sean from BCFC. I'm not happy. So it is almost about to finish over there. It is currently 4:38 plus 5 minutes on my screen. 1-1 and a corner coming, not a corner, free kick coming in from the side. Let's see if they can do anything about it. All in. Oh, top of the net. Nope. Too bad, so sad. Ricky Miller, enjoyable, seemed like a good balanced match. Love the lineup. Okay, here we go. Rob G, we beat a really good team tonight. They threw everything at us second half, but we hung on. Yep, that's pretty fair. Right, the talking points. We're going to star this one. Anyone else concerned Moore went straight down the tunnel? Was it groin or hamstring or what? New striker incoming in this January window is my quick take on that, but we can talk about it. David says, yes, worried about Moore, happy with the result. Ricky Quillman Jr. Smith played great once he came on, worked his ass off. He also looked like he was blowing out his ass after 5 minutes. But we can talk about Smith. He did okay. So I'm going to star that one too as a talking point. Okay, who's here? I didn't have Paddy doing a cable guy reference on my bingo card. Now, question, I'm not that familiar with cable guy. Did I do a cable guy reference? Because I don't think it was a cable guy reference. So fans in the chat who know what I'm talking about, what was I actually referencing when I mentioned Jim Carrey? Or did I simply get it wrong? Maybe I did. Who knows? Oh, he said it. Next up, he corrected himself straight away. Watch this. Oh, crap, it was Dumb and Dumber. Yes, it was a Dumb and Dumber that I was referencing. Okay, nearly there. Getting through the chat. Well done, everybody. Lots of chat tonight. 74 people in after 8 minutes. I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. I'll do it again. Okay, education. Maral just home. Warmer than Boxing Day. Okay. Sean, did you see their goal? They wouldn't have even had a chance if the ref didn't block our player. Ooh, controversy. Controversy in the Birmingham match. Birmingham match has gone off beside me. I'm assuming it ended 1-1. If there was a last-second goal, I did not see it. So yeah, that probably just ended 1-1. So did the ref screw over Birmingham? Maybe they did.
Is it controversy or controversy?
Controversy is probably more accurate.
Yeah.
It depends how you're saying it. Because it would be controversial, but it would have caused controversy. So it depends on which way you say it.
Yeah, I always wondered about that.
Okay, here we go. Interesting. We'll hold this for Champ Chat because tonight is about Wrexham. Is Davis gone in the morning? John will be in the Champ Chat. Actually, do you know what? Let me be fair. I don't know we're doing a Champ Chat. I expect John will be available tomorrow night and we'll do one, but we have not organized it because when I told you last week we're doing a Champ Chat, I completely forgot it was a Friday, Monday match. So this is where we are. 1-1 final. Okay, from Tommy. Okay, here we go. Rick Miller, seems like when Broadhead and Windass start, I hear a lot about Broadhead's play, but not as much about Windass. Well, Broadhead definitely needs support around him. It just drags away a few defenders because he likes to play against the defenders and he can't have too many. But who really cares? If it needs Windass on the pitch in order for Broadhead to slap in a ton of goals, then it works. And they work as a team. Another thing we are absolutely going to talk about tonight is the first goal as well. How on earth did we have our big giraffe out on the wing dancing around in front of a defender and then crossing for the header Broadhead? That's nuts. He got an assist for Broadhead. Broadhead's goal. That's crazy. I love it. It was great to see. We might not see him again for 3 months. Let's hope not. But let's see if he's injured, how badly he's injured tonight, and we'll see what happens. There we go. More with the fancy footwear. Okay, so chat, well done. Keep it going. I will see what we can do with bringing everything up on the chat, guys. But I do miss some, which is why I've started scrolling it on the screen. I like it scrolling on the screen. It takes the pressure off me. So, right, Tabs. Couple of more thoughts then. Initial thoughts of the match.
Overall,
general?
We controlled the match. Regardless of whether we were on possession or off possession, we controlled the match. That was the main thing that we had on there. Even when we got to the end of it, where we were just defending a bit more, I disagree with some people saying that we were falling into the old pattern, because our usual pattern is sit deep, hoof up front.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
No.
We sat deep only when absolutely necessary.
Yes.
And then we passed out.
We hoofed when we were in danger, in real danger.
Absolutely.
It was simply dumped. Yeah.
The usual case would have been just sit back, hoof. Then they recycle it again from their goalkeeper. It would have been like a goalkeeper or someone sitting back there, and then they would just come back. We sit back, and then hoof again, and sit back, hoof again. That didn't happen. We passed the ball out from that position, and that's been happening since the last match. Well, the match previous to this one. So since the Sheffield match, we've been just passing straight back out and trying to get the ball forward. And even when we sit back in defence, we barely sit back, and we're trying to keep going on the attack, and we control the possession. And you can tell every time we had the ball, they were, I don't want to swear, essing the bed.
Shitting the bed. It's okay. We're still allowed to swear.
Yeah, they were trying to, they were laying a brick. They were laying a brick. Because you could tell just how much control we had. Even in the first half, we had the majority possession still. We had like 51% possession. And we kept just going at them. They had a very strong mid-block. They are very dirty. Where is Jeff anyway? What's up with your players, mate? Why are they so dirty? They are.
Now, let's lay off Jeff before he at least gets here.
I know. It's just banter. It's banter. It's banter.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, quick comment here for Ollie Ratbone. Ollie with 2 goals now in 41 minutes. So what's that, like 4 goals in 90 minutes or more, technically.
Yeah, it's weird. He just slots straight in. He does as well. In this new 3-4-3, he's just slotting in perfectly, playing that kind of that hybrid midfield winger position, that AM and the AMLW, well, right, RW position here. So it's interesting how we're using them. Broadhead, well, he just drives through. He does.
Yeah. Next
to him, but Rathbone is nicely slotting in. He is, and you can tell when we got that second goal, the passage was the passage and the passes of that were just so clean. When he got it up to him, boom, just taps it in.
Okay, we have our second guest of the night. Wayne Evans is here, so I'm going to say hello. Now, guys, what I'm going to do is we'll say hello to Wayne, then I'm going to bring up the table, and then we'll start digging into some of the main talking points. Wayne, first up, what's your general opinions of the match, buddy?
Yeah, g'day, Habs, g'day, everybody. I love it. It's just so much more exciting to watch these last couple of games.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, it's great.
Isn't it fun to watch? Yeah, it
is great. And I think that anyone who thinks they park the bus just probably doesn't really know sport very much. They're out on their feet at certain stages, and Preston were really lifting, and pretty much like you've already said it all. Habs has already said it. They had to defend, they had to defend hard when they had to defend, and we had to hoof it out of trouble a few times, but we got unlucky a few times too.
We did.
That I noticed you mentioned it, Paddy, maybe in the chat. There was one ball I thought Smith was on straight away, and a bloke just stopped the ball at full stretch. And little, game of inches. But I don't think we sat back. I think we're forced to in a way, but I don't think it was by choice. I don't think they were directed to sit back at all.
Yeah,
didn't seem like it. Every time, the only time we really slowed it down was right at the end when we started going into those corners. I think.
Yeah, but that was more game management than sitting back and just defending. Yeah,
because when there was a game last year when Revan didn't do that, and it cost us a game. So
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I think what you have said already is pretty much spot on.
Okay, so
it's just so exciting to watch. I love it.
It is. It was really good. Yeah.
Yep.
And look, this is something I will just say is, if we play exciting football like this, you will get away with some losses. You will get away with some mistakes. You will get away with getting caught when you have exciting football like this. You're always going to have some people being assholes, no matter what, good or bad. Some people are just horrible. They'll always take the most negative thing. Now, that's not taken away from honest criticism. Of course, you can always honestly criticize things, but some people will just get rid of everything. But if you are playing fun football, a lot of people will give you a pass for mistakes that'll happen, because they actually understand in order to play like this, it's dangerous. To play this attacking football, we're going to have to leave ourselves open at times. And occasionally those goals are going to go in. It's going to happen if we keep playing it. So, but it's fun. It's nice to see. Now, I've always said, and I still stick with it, it's more important to get the points, right? So I don't care about the football if we're getting the points. However, if you can also achieve the same or more points by playing the fun, open football, attacking football, then do it, because it's the nicer option. But I would accept horrendous football. We've had some bad football over the last couple of seasons too, from time to time. I've defended it when Peterborough were saying, oh, we have lovely football and I don't give a shit because you're losing, you're getting yourself relegated this year. Tough shit. Doesn't matter. Bye-bye. So sad. So ultimately the points matter. But I do feel this attacking football will get us at least the same points. More, and I do believe it'll be more than we're getting at the moment. And we still have the fun. So
the thing is, we weren't playing pragmatic. We're playing it's not, I wouldn't say exciting, but the match gets exciting because we're playing more expansive. We're playing more expansive football now. And by having to play more expansive football, we're going to be a bit more opened up, but it also gives us way more chances in terms of having to score the goals as well. It really does force the other team to open up as well, especially with their mid-block as well. They opened up. As soon as we got the second goal, they just opened themselves up, and they're doing everything they can to try and score.
Yes. Okay, so here we are on the table, because this is a fun one to look at. And now let's have a look at this. Let's move it up a little higher. So after today, Coventry City is in first. Their next match is Charlton. Poor bastards, Charlton. They're in trouble in their next match. So Coventry is still on 51 points. Middlesbrough 43 points. Ipswich 41. Hull 41. Millwall 39. And then Watford 38. And that is the end of the playoff spots. 38 points. Now we are sitting in 11th after today. With 34 points. We are joint with Stoke. Stoke have a +3 goal difference better than us. And we are currently 4 points off that last spot of the playoffs. Now, goal difference would be needed to obviously steal it with the 4 points. But this is how close I wanted to be. I wanted to certainly be within 6 by the January window open. Because if you're talking to players and you want them to sign on the line, it is nice to be able to speak about, you can help us go for a playoff charge. and it's honest and realistic and not just some made up fancy crap trying to sell a signature for a team, you know. And we were in a danger position if we didn't get the 3 points tonight for that. Just in the point that it would be a little bit harder to convince the top end players that we would want. So that's how I see it anyway. I think we're now in a really good position. Our next 2 matches are away, but they're against okay competition. No guarantee of winning them, but a very good chance of winning them if we play some good football. Agree? Disagree? Happy? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we could. It's going to be difficult. It depends on what we've got so far and how much fatigue we've built up and how many injuries we've got on this as well. Because you could tell from looking at Thomason, he was blowing hard. He was. We're going to need, at some point, we're going to need Cae up and ready for those matches as well to be able to push forward. Longman at some point he's really at his limit. He's struggling.
He was at his limit tonight. He was doing his best, but at one point he got absolutely left for dust.
It's not just that. When there's some passes on there that were happening, and Longman just couldn't get to the end of them. Yeah. Like Windass was trying to do. And you knew if Kabore was there, he would have got them.
Yeah, that's true. And look, we do have Kabore on the other side to come back, and we know the 2 of those are an upgrade. You know, they will significantly improve the team. So with those 2 playing and this new formation, that could be a significant upgrade just at that. Now, of course, we need to talk about Kiefer Moore at some point. We haven't started diving yet, but we will talk about him and whether he's in or out or what the situation is. But yeah, but we're close enough. We can honestly say, without lying to try and make things look better, we have not had our very best team very much this half season. So without upgrading on the team, I don't think it's a stretch to say we can do better in the points total in the second half of the season than we did in the first, without bringing anyone in. Is that fair? Or do you disagree with that?
I agree. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think 2 games is nothing. In 22 games remaining, I don't think that's that big a gap, especially if you go on a bit of a tear and everyone else keeps getting draws. And I don't think it's out of reach, the playoffs for sure. I think they could do it easy. Okay. I think if we keep this up, obviously.
Okay, so let's ask that question. Let's just dive into this before the match. The window is about to open. This was the last match before the window. So, do you just simple question? Do you expect us to be stronger after this window? You think we're going to get players? Yeah.
Well, we should.
Yeah, we should. We've got the money. We're starting to look more attractive in the last couple of weeks. I can't see why not.
I think that's fair. And that's another reason why I think we'll also be stronger in the second half. So, yeah, I'm positive. I'm absolutely positive about it. We've hit our stride at the right moment, just before we need to convince some new players to come and join us and make a charge. So let's have a quick talk about Moore then. Moore went down with an injury, came off, didn't come back on after half time. So someone just posted there that Parky said it wasn't too bad, but that's on first issue, obviously. Now, fair enough, he had to come off in order to rest it immediately. If it's only a couple of weeks, fantastic. But this might be the excuse we need to get or to try and get a backup for Moore. Is it not? Because I almost think it's if you bring in another striker and let's say they're good enough to demand kind of first billing, it's a little bit harsh on the 3 we have because they've been strong. They maybe didn't have a chance, Broadhead and Windass, they've only started playing together. So I think it'd be a little bit harsh if you dumped one to the bench and brought someone in permanently. But now with Moore having a bit of an injury and it being extremely obvious we need some backup, if we keep 3 at the front, we need a 4th of a very high level. I think it's pretty clear we should be taking another person now.
Yeah, it's become obvious for that. We're going to need that big man striker up front that can just do those little pirouettes and just and head those balls in as well, because you're going to need someone who's very physical as well. We can't have someone who's going to be soft around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, because Moore does a lot of work. He does a lot of hold up play. He does a lot of things. He connects passes when we need to, especially this formation, this 3-4-3, and the fluid change to either to a 2-1 or a 1-2. It allows us to be able to play Broadhead, Moore, and Windass together in a way that would be dangerous up front. But it relies a lot on having Moore be the bait and distraction in a lot of it as well.
Yeah, particularly.
Yeah. Matt White here says it almost forces his hand like Macca's ban if Moore is out for an extended period, even say 4 weeks.
He won't be up for that long. It's nothing.
I know. Look, sure. Now, in fairness, we saw Moore almost bend his foot backwards, and he was back like the next match. Everybody was worried he was going to be out for weeks and weeks. With this still shot of how he bent his foot. So hopefully it's nothing. And most cases it's one single match or whatever coming up next, and give him a bit of a rest. But just the fact that it happened is enough to also kind of put it back in everybody's mind. Well, what if Moore goes down? If you honestly think Moore is the key to how he wants to play / how Wrexham like to play, then we can't just have one more. We have to have someone, at least someone who is a bit of a hybrid and maybe a big monster who can also substitute for the Windass or the Broadhead positions so that they can all rotate between each other. It doesn't have to be a perfect like for like with Moore, but just someone maybe big enough to also put the defenders at fear of not being able to reach his head for a header at the box.
Of course, yeah. Okay. I mean, it's just a necessary thing. And as you were saying, like that hybrid kind of player, like the person who can sit back deep as well, or come forward and charge in and crash the play as well. That would be good. Someone who can carry the ball forward as well. That would be very good as well. Someone who's very technical on the ball and be able to just get the top bins, let's say, or just get the ball in.
Yeah. Matt has a good point here. I like to think Moore played it safe and took himself out.
Yeah,
now, absolutely. If he feels he has done even a bit of damage, don't play through it. Don't be stupid. Don't stay out on it and do more damage. Just get off, get on the ice, and look after it, and make sure you're back ready for the next match or the match after, or whatever the case is.
I did see a replay just before he did go off where he was turning, and he copped a bit of a knee pretty much in that same spot on the side. So at first I thought he might have had a bit of a corky. And then he pulled up. I saw him reaching at the back of his leg. But in between that, he had tried to run 2 or 3 times and pulled up each time and sort of went towards their goalie, and look, he went off camera. I've had that injury, just pulling. It's just like you pull your hamstring, but it don't quite tear it, and it feels strange if you've never done it before. But I think he was just taking a precaution. He knew that if he stretched out, he probably was going to tear his hamstring. And yeah, so give him a game or 2 off just to make sure he doesn't come back and tear his hamstring, and he'll be good to go.
That's the smart thing to do. It really is, and I wish other players would do it. you know, instead of forcing their way through it to the end of a match or whatever.
If you tear your hamstring, you're not trying to run on it.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 or 3 cracks at trying to do something, but took about 4 or 5 steps and pulled up each time. Would have been interesting, a lot of ifs and buts, but if he did stay on, I think it might have been a lot different scoreline tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And like Habs was saying, we do need a backup for him. It'd be good if it was someone as good as him, because when you're a threat like he is and the other team knows it and they double team you, that instantly frees somebody else up.
Yeah.
So that's the whole, like Habs was saying, like a decoy. You use him like a decoy and you go to other people because they should be free. Yeah.
Now, George here is saying Parky said that Windass is also still suffering from a kick to a calf a few weeks ago. And that actually sounds similar to what happened to Cae. If you recall, he got a kick to the calf and apparently there was a lot of blood build-up, more than they had expected, and he ended up out for a while. So either way, if we're going to stay with this style, with the 3 up front, and I hope we do, because it's making a lot of sense, 3 main strikers is not enough. And without being too harsh on everybody else, I'm not sure they're good enough to be a consistent starter rotating with the level of Broadhead, Windass and Moore. But we will talk about Smith a little bit later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's kind of talk about the first half of it, because it's pretty much a tale of 2 halves. And guys, I'm going to throw out the link as well if anybody else is coming in. So feel free to come and join us.
Yeah, please come in. Please come in.
Okay, so link to the show is back in the chat there, so you don't have to scroll back for it. So let's talk about the first half, because it pretty much was a game of 2 halves. The way I saw it is we had the 3 boys up front. They were getting service and they were getting into dangerous positions. And it looked to me like it was going to happen at some point. I kind of felt it was building up and building up. We got a couple of chances that we didn't convert, but it looked like we were dominating, and at some point we were going to get that goal. Is that how you saw it? Wayne?
Yeah, we did. We looked dominant. We had a few more hoof balls than last game, but especially in the second half. But they're just attacking all the time. I love it. You can't beat it. And there was one time in the second half where
first half, Wayne.
About getting back, even if you make where everyone ran. But that's just the way you got to play. It's like the whole goal of the game. The whole goal of any game is to score more points than the other team, and you're not going to score them when you're sitting up your own end all the time.
Yeah. Habs, do you agree with my assessment there?
Yeah, I mean, one interesting. So there's a few interesting things there were. So Thomason, once again, it was doing incredible work. His link-up play with Doyle and Broadhead was on display once again with what he was doing, as well as being able to just get those nice little passes in between. But also the important bit was when Broadhead was always driving. Whenever they got the ball onto our MP&A, Broadhead, whenever we get it out, Broadhead goes for the turnovers. He does. He always goes for the turnovers, or if he doesn't get the turnovers, he gets the ball past him and he drives through. And he's either passing it to Thomason, or he'll go through the halfway line, come through and either try and pass it to Windass or Thomason. So he's always doing that. He's always driving the ball forward, he is. And you could see just how much control we were just having towards that. And when you get to that goal point, it was just that you could feel the build-up coming. You could just feel it, because it was just coming, and they could feel it as well. And you could tell they could feel it.
Yeah, it was a different match. You can't really compare the Sheffield United to this. They were very different teams, very different styles to play against. But like I said, I think it just looked like it was working. So SMP says here, the P&E keeper kept them in it, which I think is very fair. We had some lovely shots in the first half. that he managed to keep out. So fair play to him.
One thing I would say is that the game was slower. It was slower, but we had far more control over the game. It was, so we were being much more particular with our passes. So we were being more specific in particular, trying to get the ball forward as opposed to just trying to just move as quick as possible instead of just like being like aggressive on our press. It was more like controlled press going forward.
Yeah. And George put up this comment, which I think is also true. With all three in the game, an opponent has to pick their poison. Basically, they can't really monitor everybody at the same time. They can't double up. It's really difficult to double up on any of the three, because the moment you do, the other two are just starting to find space everywhere. So
and then our wingbacks. And then our wingbacks come in.
And the wingbacks come in too, and everybody else supports. But worst case, what you have is a one-on-one scenario, basically. And we haven't really had that too much, because we've always kind of been overloaded in around the area, at least one person, and then they have risked the other people potentially being open. But even having one-on-ones in that scenario, now they're having real trouble. They almost have no choice about going one-on-one. They have to. They really don't have an option. And when they feel the danger's there, they do double up. Spaces open up all around them. and Dante says here, where is it gone? Dante, pick their poison, and when Kakache and Kabore come back, egads. Yeah, I think that will be really interesting too.
Then they have to deal with the speed after that. And then that's when they're going to be really, they're going to have the brown pants. They will.
Yeah.
They'll be wearing their brown pants.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go through the tree quickly then for the kind of first half. So Moore, what on earth was he doing out on the wing, trying to dance around a defender? And he managed to do it, looking like the giraffe that sometimes we call him. And then he had a near pinpoint accurate cross in for Broadhead in order to jump up in pretending to be Kiefer Moore and takes an easy header in for a goal.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think that's when he triggered the hamstring thing, when he did that.
Yeah.
I think that's the replay they showed where he copped the bloke as he was turning. The bloke's knee got him in the sort of side back of the leg, and maybe that had something to do with the later injury. But that it's like I say, you can't be, once the ball's kicked, anything can happen, and he's, that's where the space was, and that's where the ball was, so that's where he was. There was no one else there there was no one else there in the wing to cross it in for a goal, but he was there. And that's what you got to do. You can't just stay in your lane all the time. You got to make things happen.
Of course, I'm not giving out about it. It's just, it was a weird sort of a thing to happen. We've never really seen.
Strange.
Who did the pass to him?
Who did the pass to him? I'm not sure. I think
it was a long pass.
Oh, was it from the back? Okay. Not sure. But Longman should have been up there helping him, and he wasn't. So I don't know where he got caught. But maybe, as you said, if it was a quick pass, then maybe he wasn't able to get up there straight away.
It was a long pass. It was a pretty long pass from what I remember. I can't remember the exact details, but when he got to the ball, you could tell. I mean, the way he was holding up the player, he was doing that. He didn't really do anything like the ball was fumbling within his feet. He just managed to get it into the right position, and then he just crosses it over nicely. That cross was nice. And then you could see Broadhead just almost do like a star jump in the air to do that, to hit that ball in. But Kiefer, he was being physical with them. They were really physical towards him as well. So he had to just try and keep it in, fumble it in a little bit, manage to get into the right spot, boom, just get it over across.
Yeah.
Just nicely placed it was.
Okay. Moving on then to Broadhead a little bit, because we've mentioned him now. Lovely little jump on him in complete open space where the rest of the defenders were. They completely got caught on the break.
That's what I wonder as well.
But
Where
do you know
were
what? Isn't it nice that when we do this massive break and a long pass up to the front, there was two up there. Windass wasn't around that I could see, so he was probably back helping with the defensive duties, but he didn't get caught on his own, which is usually what happens when we get these breaks. Is Moore ends up with the ball up the front and he has nobody to play with. He's just there, Billy no mates, passing to himself around the front until everybody runs back. And by the time he gets support from us, all the defenders are back too. So yeah, that was really nice.
I think this 3-4-3 I think the McLean ban was such a blessing in disguise. It was that it's forced Parky's hand, and you could tell Parky was trying to work out what he wanted to do all throughout the first half of the season, and we finally found the formula for it. We have found that formula, and many of us have already said we want Broadhead, Moore, and Windass up front, but we just didn't have the we probably just didn't have it drilled in properly enough. And you could tell the way Broadhead plays, you can tell, but the way he plays, he's much more used to being drilled as a left winger. He is, but he's now having to get used to. But he has played attacking midfielder, but now he's playing his hybrid role, in which he has a lot more independence. He said this in the Sky Sports interview where he's given so much more freedom to do this, and you're now seeing his independent level, his individual quality showing up now, where it's just his ability to just drive forward for that and get into spaces as well, because he loves taking on the defense. He absolutely loves it.
He does, and I'm not worried about Thomason's fitness levels.
I'm on about Broadhead.
You're talking about Broadhead. Sorry, but we're talking about Thomason linking in there. No,
I was talking about Broadhead.
Comments. Okay, sorry. Go on. Talk about keep going. Sorry, my head just went there. I was looking at comments.
Yeah, because Broadhead, he loves driving through. He does every time. You could tell that he was at the beginning when we got him. He was very much in a much more drilled in kind of position where he was like, he didn't feel quite comfortable in certain places. He plays in these particular positions, and also probably the system. But it's probably now. But since he's been given this kind of like this independent amount of ability to play, you can see his quality really starting to shine in a way that he probably wouldn't have been allowed to do at Ipswich. So
he wouldn't, because he said that. He said that it's a different approach here, that you have to find this space yourself, whereas it was drilled. You had exact spots to basically be.
And it's showing now. He's showing that he's a completely different player now.
Yeah.
This weird hybrid winger and attacking midfielder is really starting to work interestingly, because you can see Broadhead goes up front and Windass likes to sit back slightly, but then you can see when they go forward and back, and the way they link up with the wing backs. If you've got the right wing backs, and you've got the defense up with you with either Max and or Thomason, or in the case once we get the other two back up and running, you could see how this is just going to really kick in. Because I remember back in the Norwich match, when I was on Wrexham, I said the way Windass works with Kabore is really good.
Yeah,
that was what was slightly missing in this. You could tell because with Longman, you could see that there were passes he was trying to get out to Longman, and Longman just couldn't get to him. He just couldn't get to those passes.
Yeah, and one thing I will say is you could tell earlier in the season when Broadhead was playing that he had those moments in him, and he was trying to find them on his own. But I think the real difference was, I think, the defenders had the ability to immediately try and double team him, and it made it really difficult for him to get the finish off. Whereas now it's a much more difficult thing for the defenders to double up on him, because if they do, he's having the easy pass to someone else who is also viciously dangerous. So they're more careful in doing it, and they either give him freedom of space because they're watching everybody, or they attack him and then he gets to pass it off. And we've been seeing the team ups between the three of them more and more. They're all doing it. It's fantastic. You know, they hold the ball, they invite players to come and get it, and then they just pass it off to someone else. And there are options.
And then now they're scared of trying to do, if they try and do any overloads on any particular player, they end up dragging them into spaces where it just opens up new spaces where you see players running through. And we even saw it. I won't talk about the second half, but we can see when you see Doyle come through, or when Thompson's there, he passes it off to Broadhead. You can just see how easily that kind of space just opens up so quickly. And then if he's not there, you can just go off to Windass or to Moore, and it's just so easy, or to Longman in this case. So the space is just open up for Broadhead to just really go through. And when you look at the certain matches in the past where you see Broadhead's quality, or his individual quality, really starting to shine, you could see it in the Swansea match when he just went straight for it. I think there was another one, I can't remember who it was, where he just took on all the defenders and he tried to score against them. I think it was either Blackburn or it was Hull. Hull was one of them as well. He just went for it and tries to score.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move it on to Windass then. I think Windass, I'm sorry, did you want to say something there, Wayne?
Yeah, okay, what Habs was saying before about Broadhead driving through, that's what I talk about, how you got to have players in motion all the time. When the ball stops and everyone's just standing there, it gets pretty easy for defenses to defend that. If anyone wants to know what I'm talking about, I marked it in my head. There's 88 minutes, Rathbone kicks it into Smith. Smith kicks it back to Rathbone. Smith just stands there. Another player from Wrexham is just standing there, and there was so much open space. Rathbone is standing on the sideline of the ball looking to where to pass it. I don't know whether it's a combination of fatigue from everybody else, or everyone worried about them getting the ball and attacking. Because if there was two or three players flying through there,
yeah,
or Smith started moving himself, or the other bloke, I don't know who it was, started moving, but everyone just stood still, and Rathbone had nothing. There was no play. Like, if anyone wants to watch it at 88 minutes, they can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if that's, I'm pretty sure that's the one I was thinking of as well. What happened there was a very unusual pass for us. Was an immediate back pass. Yeah. So it was the attacker passing it back to get space to the midfielder, and he instantly kicked it straight back, which is not usual to us, but should have been a really good option. And he just wasn't ready for the pass back, and he was too static, which is what you're saying.
Nobody moved.
He was too static. Yeah.
Nobody moved, and nobody came from the right of screen flying towards, like, making themselves an option. Like, there was nobody in motion, and Rathbone just stood there for a few seconds, and there was nothing he could do. Like, and I think we probably lost the ball after that. And I was like, man, there was so much open space for blokes to come flying through in there. And hopefully maybe they would have left their defender behind if they just took off quick enough. But you need players in motion. You need the ball. When the ball's in motion and players are running everywhere, defenders struggle to.
Yeah.
That's when wrong decisions are made in defence. But if everyone's just standing still and the ball's staying still, every defender can go grab his man and it's all over,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I do want to talk about the wing backs, but I'm going to wait on those just for a moment, because I think they're easier to talk about for a whole match, because I don't think much changed for them really. So just kind of finishing off the first half where we were playing really well. The rest of the team then, did anything in particular you want to say about the rest of the team? They all seem to do their jobs well. They all looked reasonably comfortable. I was quite happy with everybody. Did you guys see anything in that first half where we were playing and dominating to talk about?
You get Win.
I like Doyle. I think he lost a couple of kilos since the start of the season, and just looks a bit fitter, and I think it's starting to show through with his performances. I think he got unlucky. Heim was bossing that Jefferson all night. Yeah, thought Hyam played really well too.
Okay.
Matty James was okay. I think everyone was playing well. We're up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We're winning.
yeah. Right. So then the wing backs. We have Thomason on the left, and I do think we were kind of shut down in that channel a lot more tonight than the previous match.
I was going to say that.
And most of it was going through the right this side tonight.
Thomason seemed like he was everywhere, and Longman seemed like he was nowhere.
I think Longman struggled tonight. That's something I will say. He was doing his absolute best. He was certainly putting the effort in. But there was some passes that maybe weren't great. There was some collection of passes that weren't great. Some crosses weren't fantastic. But he was serviceable in general, I guess. You know, that's fair. And we do all kind of know at some point he will be replaced, but we have Maka on the left first. That is probably going to go because at least Longman can cover both sides, so he's very useful there. And Barney, of course, is not getting to time, so it's Barney and Maka will most likely be the ones losing their spots before Longman. But we have Kabore to come back as well. But in general, like, we know this is an important part of the 3-4-3 as well, because we need to have the attacking options on the wings. Let's just assume for a moment that Kabore and Kikache can't play for another while. Would you be comfortable enough with Thomason? Thomason is tired, but I don't mind that. He's new to it. It's a different game. You're constantly running and chasing, which he's probably not used to in the midfield. So we can allow that for a little bit. But are you happy enough with the two of them?
Thomason was out on his feet, but to his credit, he kept pushing and he was still stripping the ball off him at times. And when he needed to work, he worked. Like, you know, he pushed through it. I think he did quite well because I thought he was gone about half an hour to go. And I thought he was the first one who should have been replaced the way he looked, just like, as in, not the way he was playing, but the way he was out on his feet. Looked like he was almost begging to be replaced to me. He kept looking to the sideline. They left him out there and he kept going and he kept making plays. So that's all you can ask.
Well, I wonder, was he maybe looking to the sideline for a bit of reassurance that he's doing okay? And that there's no instructions that are needed to control.
You only look to the sideline when you want to get off.
Well, there's no getting off.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I made a comment
back at the moment. There's no getting off. I
made a comment in the chat. When you gas, you're hoping that you get replaced because not only do you want to end up embarrassing yourself, you don't want to cost your team. That's what's going through your head. Yeah. It's all about you don't want to look because because you say gas, someone's going to make you look like a fool sooner or later.
Yeah,
especially someone with speed.
All right. Kim put up this comment here. Longman got 21 out of 24 passes for his passing, 88. Now, I do also think he didn't maybe get onto the end of some passes that were put in his direction. So maybe his passing was actually better by that metric than I remembered. But yeah, that's fairly solid, and I like seeing that as a stat at least.
It's more of an influence thing on a game. I look at how much they influence the game.
So what I got on here, I got something slightly different. I'm on FOTMod, but it says accurate passes 24 to 29, 83%. Expected assists 0.5, XG. I don't really care about XG, so who cares about that thing? Yes. But, attack touches 50. He is accurate crosses. I mean, he didn't really do any crosses, but you could tell. Oh no, go ahead, Wayne.
Sorry, stats can be deceptive. Like, you got to look at how much pressure was on him when he was doing the passes, and how much pressure was on the people that he was passing to. Like, some passes, when they just pass it around, an unmarked man to an unmarked man, basically. So, yeah. But I'd like to see stats of percentages when the pressure's on. That's the difference.
One thing I was going to say is that you could tell P&E watched the last match. You could tell they got some film they saw, and they saw that left side is dangerous. So they were targeting that side as much as possible because we were using that side to attack because we became very dangerous on that side with Doyle and Broadhead being able to link things up along with Sheaf. But you could just tell how much aggression they were trying to put towards that they were, as opposed to the right, and it left so much space that we could do that because you can see Thomason was always doing these long passes towards either Windass or Longman.
Yeah, but isn't this exactly the point though, right? If you can actively use both wings, then when they shut one down, they leave one open. And the weekend, or last Friday, it was the left-hand side. He just had his man, and nobody else double-teamed and got his back to save his ass. So Thompson had free reign on the left-hand side, at least when he was attacking. And now tonight they shut him down because he was a danger man, and Longman seemed to have acres of space on the other side. And now he did struggle a little bit, but he had the space.
Which lifts his percentages up.
Yeah. Okay.
Less pressure.
All right. Okay, just a quick question then, because there's a comment here I'm going to bring up. Right. First of all, Longman and Thomason. Do you think either of them should start over Cae and Kabore on their side?
I'd put Cae in and move Thomason to the other side. If he can cross from the right foot. And if Kabore's back, I'd have him in. It's just he's a threat.
I just asked you if Kabore is back. Yeah.
But if he's back,
I said he's back. Would you put him in above?
Yeah, why not?
It's a hypothetical. I was just checking that you still think Cae and Kabore are the number one starters.
I think there's three of them to pick between now.
Okay.
With Thomason. Okay. Obviously, they've all got Longman's measure.
You rate Thomason above Longman?
Yes.
Okay.
I like Longman, but I can see, especially the last couple of games, I like Thomason now better.
Okay. So David Fields has a comment here, and I wanted to bring it up. All this talk on Macca makes me think people forget he was our man of the match last time we played Preston. Okay. David, I'd like you to answer this in the chat as well if you can. Would you play Macca over any of the other four wing backs? I'm including Thomason now. So we got Cae, Kabore, Thompson, and Longman. We've judged them to be in kind of 1-2, and then Thomason and Longman. So would you put Macca above any of them? Because I wouldn't. And I understand your comment. Okay, he's just down the pecking order now. And I think it's obvious he's down the pecking order. And just because someone had one very good game, it doesn't mean that guarantees them a spot and they should always be played. It doesn't work like that. Anybody can have a good day. It's a team effort, but you can be especially good. You can make assists and you can make goals on a particular day. It doesn't mean that makes you extra special and you should get a spot over someone else. And unfortunately, I think he's in 5th place at the moment. But I do put him ahead of Barney. I think he'll get a spot ahead of Barney. But he doesn't play on that side. They're not fighting for a spot.
On the question of would I put Cae and Kabore back in that hypothetical, not immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Not immediately, even if they're fit, because they have to get back to match fitness.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
That's the hypothetical.
Match fitness is very, very different to just being back to having that level of fitness. So I would still use Longman and Thomason for the time being and bring them on as subs and slowly get their match fitness back up. I'd bring them on for the last 15 minutes. Last 15 minutes towards it, and then you could start seeing their physicality and speed really change the game.
Okay, so the answer is yes.
Yeah. only under certain. I wouldn't put them as starters.
Yeah, the circumstances is they're ready to play, and that includes match fitness. Yeah, because they're not ready now. It's hypothetical. Like when they're ready, they're ready.
If their match fitness is on as well, then yeah, I'll have them start.
It's my hypothetical. It is.
I thought you was just saying just their fitness as opposed to. I was thinking certain circumstances, but
okay, no problem.
Yeah,
but you're not putting Mac over anybody, so okay.
McLean he can be loaned out elsewhere at this point.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then let's.
Being sentimental won't guarantee you 3 points. You got to take sentimentality out of it all.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Of course,
it doesn't serve anybody.
No, don't get us wrong. We all love McLean, but
but he did his job, and now his time's finished.
He joined us in League Two.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what 3 years ago, or part of 3 years now, because we're in our third league with him. So, like, everything takes its toll. Come on, guys, be honest. Like,
he's reached his limit. He reached his limit a while ago.
He's done his job. Now it's time for the next bloke to do his job.
Yeah. Okay. So Dave Pikey.
The match fitness thing, I think Smith suffered a bit from that tonight. I think after 15, 20 minutes into the second half, he was really blowing. But he had a couple of chances to get his breath back. He came good again. Because I know with match fitness, you can do a preseason. You think, oh, that's the best preseason I've ever had. I've never felt fitter. And you get out there in the first game, and after 10 minutes, you're blowing your ass off. Like a match is completely different thing to training, and that's just from personal experience. And then after 3 or 4 weeks, you sort of come good.
Yeah. Okay, so comment here from Dave Pikey just to finish off on the Cabora and Kakachi thing. Cabora and Kakachi are going to love this new setup. I think they will, absolutely. I think they're going to have lots of fun, and they're going to have a lot of players closer to them to pass to and cross to and get in there. Okay.
Especially with Kakachi's physicality as well. He is going to be an absolute bell end to some of the people that he's going to be next to, because he's just going to shove them out of the way.
Okay, I have to do this. I'm sorry. Esteban did this.
He probably played a bit of union in his juniors coming up.
Right.
I love that over there. Even just at school, knocking around and on blokes. So, you can see it. A bit of rough and tumble.
Right. Esteban's comment here, I had to bring it up. You're a winger, Georgie. In Hagrid's voice from Harry Potter.
Well, that's the wrong accent, mate. You got to do a Bristol accent for that one.
Whatever. I did my best. I'm not doing it again. Right.
You will.
Okay. So you bring up a good point. I was about to move on to the second half, and where things started to slow down. Moore got swapped out. Smith came on. And first up, you said, yes, he looked like he was blowing pretty quick, but seemed to kind of get over it a little bit afterwards. Let's talk about Smith, seeing as we already started with him. What do we think about his performance in general? Now, I know things got harder, things changed a little bit. They came to attack us harder because they were behind, and after the halftime talk, stuff like that. But do you think it was Smith that changed a lot of this, or was it the other team that just came after us? And how do you rate Smith? Do you think he could do a job rotating with Broadhead, Windass, and Moore, or not?
I like Smith. I mentioned it. I saw a video of the preseason. They were in New Zealand, and they were shooting baskets, and he just kept dropping one after the other. There's people that are just freaky sportsmen who do freaky things, like that goal against Charlton last year. And I mentioned it earlier. I thought he was on. I thought he was going to score a goal about 2 minutes after he got on, and that bloke just got his foot to the ball. If that ball got through, I think he was open, and that was probably going to be a goal, I reckon. And he did hit the post as well on another one, but they would have felt hard done by, because that ball was out before Thomason kicked it. The ref never picked up on it, but
it was,
so he gets himself in. He gives himself opportunities. There's a lot of other people that miss goals every game too. But I like him. I think there's something about him. I think he's just got to get a bit of time to show it.
I noticed he was very good at keeping his line and not being offside. And he almost got in on top of a couple of passes that people tried to sneak through the defenders. And there was one in particular that was gorgeous, but a defender got a foot to it. And that would have been a perfect opportunity. But yeah, he definitely seemed to be creating opportunities for the balls to come through for him to get on the end of. But you honestly think that, leaving aside what we might do in the January window, he could deputise for some in the group of three when they need a rest or what have you, when we have quick games? Is he good enough?
I don't think he let us down tonight. I think he's good enough to cover. Remains to be seen what happens in January. Maybe he'll drop further down the list, but
he might. But of course, we don't know that. So if they don't get in a new striker, is he good enough to rotate and start? Do you think, without a major drop?
It's hard. He's different to Moore. As a stand-in for Moore, I would say no.
Okay.
But just generally as a striker, he seems to get himself in position all the time, gives himself opportunities. It's just might just come down to a minutes thing. It's hard.
Yeah.
Hard to tell when you don't get to see people.
Hard. He only had half a match. I understand that. Yeah. I know. I'm asking hard questions.
And it was probably twice he could, like I said, one hit the post, and we might be talking about the same one. The defender's the one I was talking about. The ball didn't get to Smith in the end, but it looked like it was about to, and it looked like he was about to score. And
yeah,
it was almost, that bloke was at full stretch and just caught it on the end of his toes. And we might be all cheering for him now. You know, he might have potted that goal, and everyone thinks he's a hero. But now we're talking about, is he good enough?
Well, yeah, we were always going to ask, is he good enough? But unfortunately, he didn't score the goal. So yeah.
Yeah, but the ball didn't get to him. And it was
look, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I understand that.
But he, like you said, he kept himself onside, and then he got out in front of him and just. I really thought he was about to score then, and yeah. But anyway.
Okay. Habs, what do you think?
So what he was really good at was stretching the defence. He was good at doing that. He was really good with stretching the defence. He was. And especially whenever we did those long passes towards trying to get the ball towards to Smith, he would stretch the defence further, and it forced everyone to try and run back. I'm on about P&E. They were like, oh no, this has gone to him. And you could tell when he always went on to the left. And you could tell whenever he was on the left, he was trying to either centre it up or go through. Because there were moments where he did some crosses as well to try and get to the other side on the box. And he was doing incredibly good work. He was doing a lot of yeoman's work. A lot of yeoman's work to try and just get the ball forward. So he was carrying a lot of the ball forward, or he was doing some hold-up play, winning some fouls, getting those things, and then just all try and pass it off to either to Broadhead or to Rathbone, and to get that kind of build-up play as well, so that we return to that build-up play with constantly pressing back and attacking the opposition as well. So that's one of the things he was doing. And of course, he had those moments where he could have scored as well. So, but P&E goalkeeper kept him in play. We could have been up. We should have been like 3 or 4 goals up at that point. We should have been like 3 or 4 goals up.
Potentially, but you can't get every one of them.
True.
Okay. What Habs is talking about there is what I was saying. You got to have players in motion. There's so many things off the ball that, like you said, it opens them up. Like it spreads. Yeah, it's all the stuff. It's not always what's happening on the ball. It's a lot of times it's what's happening off the ball too.
Yeah,
in a lot of sports.
Yeah, and I've said that too. We previously have been way too static. I think that's changed a lot now. I think people are doing a much better job at making themselves available, getting into positions for triangles, etc. That's much more fluid. So I think it's stopping in general, but we've called out a couple of cases where people were caught a little bit flat-footed. But while we talk about the front attack here, people in the comments are asking about Hardy. What do we think of Hardy? I know he's more than likely going to go out or whatever, but what do we think of Hardy? Would he be better than Smith potentially with this front three lineup? Is it more his style?
Would you say he's slightly quicker than Smith? He seems to be.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. He always seems to be flying through for tap-ins and stuff. Like, he seems to put himself in position too. It's the same again. Like, we don't get to see the minutes.
We don't get to see the minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to judge people on not very many minutes. It doesn't give you, it doesn't paint a big picture, you know. You just see little tiny windows, and it's hard to, if you know. The only one who's thrived in tiny windows so far is Rathbone.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another guest. Hang on. So we have Anand in the background. Anand, thumbs up. Are you ready? Cool. Okay, I'm going to bring him in, guys. Anand, hello. Welcome back.
Yeah, this has been an absolute great 2 games, you know, just to show how tough this league is. This is our first 2-game winning streak, and I think this definitely gives management a reason to splurge during the transfer window. I think there was always some doubts as to whether they will go for it or not. I'm pretty sure they will go very aggressively now that we are in the upper half of the table.
Especially. Okay. Were you listening to what we were saying? Were you managing to listen to us, or have you just joined?
Yeah, I think, you know, this with our front three, the spaces have opened up so much that the defenses can get away with being not perfect. I think they have, you know, they're not crowded in the back third as while we were, you know, eking out those draws. I think we will now have a situation where we can win a lot more games with this front three. Hopefully, injuries don't get in the way, but this has really opened up, and you can see the opposing defenses getting confused, like you said earlier, as to who to cover, and there is always somebody open to take that shot.
Okay, good. So I was going to move on to our midfield, because obviously they came at us. We made some changes. We mentioned Smith up front. Now we have Rathbone came on, so he covered for Windass, wasn't it? And then we had Dobson came in the midfield, and they weren't on the pitch for very long. I have given Dobson a little bit of a hard time lately.
Don't forget J-Rod.
Okay, J-Rod is here too, but he wasn't part of this little bit. So J-Rod came on as well, correct? And I've given Dobson a little bit of a hard time, saying sometimes his passing isn't great, but I have noticed that some of his long passing is particularly good. Sometimes he's very good at just booting a ball nice and quick, flat, straight up the pitch. And he basically did that again in between the defence, and Rathbone got on the end of it. And nice, comfortable strike, and boom, goal number 2. So Rathbone is now on 2 goals in less than 45 minutes. So the question was asked in the comments, how do we get Rathbone into the team? And just to follow it up, what do we think about Dobson covering in the midfield when we only have 2 midfielders? Anyone want to take that in particular?
I just think Rathbone's got to be in there somewhere. Just
Okay, but let's not be
Yeah.
sentimental. Tell me where, because
I'm not being
there's only-
sentimental.
I know. I don't. I just
Yeah.
you have to take someone out if you want to do that, though. If he has to be in, who's out?
I don't know. Probably Matty James. He's been playing well, but I just think Rathbone just got that little bit extra.
Okay, I agree. Rathbone has it in attack, absolutely. You know, he can join the attack, and as he did, help score a goal. But you'd put him in for defensive duties instead of James?
I think Rathbone is, we've always had we were missing our magic striker for the last few minutes. And I think Rathbone is our guy for now.
Okay, but now let me be clear though. Rathbone was covering for the striker tonight, so he was forward. That was his job. He was attacking tonight, but Wayne just said he has to be in the team. So if you want him in the team, do you agree he must be in the team? And if you say he has to be in the team, who are you taking out?
Yeah, he might not be a starter right now.
Okay.
He might have to wait it out. I think our starters have all earned their keep, and I don't think knowing Parky, unless we have a really bad game, nobody's coming in, and so he might have to wait it out. But he's really clear-minded when he comes in late, and I think we need some. We need somebody who has that calm, collective measure about themselves in the ending minutes. So he's a perfect sub for us right now.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect sub.
Here's one. We tried Thomason on the left wing as a
Okay.
No one expected him to go. So well, what if we put Rathbone in for Longman
on the right?
Until the others come back. I know, but I don't know. I just think he's got a bit. It's just energy. He just makes things happen. I don't really.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to call you out a little bit here. All right. If you say he must be in the team, and it's not a bit of sentimentality because he's not in the team, why do you think he must be in? Like, you have to take someone else out, and I think you're sitting on the fence on this one.
Well, 2 goals in 45 minutes should be a pretty good answer, I think.
But then you should be able to tell me where to put him, I think. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm not trying to. But
I know, and I just think utility. Sometimes it really doesn't matter in games where people are. Like you just need your best players out there. That's what I think.
Okay.
Things happen. I don't like the whole structure thing. It's.
No, but the structure is important. It is important. Parky has told everybody that they have the flexibility to move around, and I do think they do. I don't think anybody has ever gotten a bollocking after the match for trying something and going out of position. Everybody has been out of position at different times, trying something. But I'm just curious on the starter. This is the hard thing, and this is why some people kind of
I just said
jump on. Okay, you'd like to try him instead of Longman. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll ask you this.
Quicker.
Yeah.
I think he's quicker, and he's everywhere. He's I don't think it mattered. Like, look what Moore did tonight. Yeah. Put a cross in from the wing. So,
okay.
Good players just make things happen.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever happen, but I don't disagree with the idea of trying it. You know, if he practiced in training and played it, I've no reason not to say give him a shot. You know, it's not crazy out of the world.
It doesn't always have to be a right answer. Sometimes you just get a feeling for things.
Yeah, I think Parky is not a feeling guy.
I'm not into the feelings sometimes. Not when things are starting to go well and work. You know, if we're not getting the results, absolutely fill your boots and try things. You know, I absolutely. But now that things are starting to click, I'm trying to figure out like who is a like for like and who can be swapped here and there. And we had this discussion the other night. This is why I'm kind of bringing it up again. And I don't think there is an answer, but this is why I'm drilling down to see if maybe we can come up with one a little bit. Is if we stick with the 3-4-3, then it's the midfielders that are getting screwed a little bit, because we are a little short in attack if we're playing 3 every match, and we only have 2 in the midfield because we're leaving wingers separate. They're a complete different class, basically. So we're overloaded in the midfield. Now, most of them, a couple of them are actually injured, so it's not really that much of a problem at the moment. But like Lewis O'Brien, we'd be questioning, where does Lewis O'Brien go? Well, can he take over from Matty James? We're talking about Dobson. Does Dobson deserve a start? And does he deserve to start over James? Like, it's the midfield at the moment in this system. Those players are going to get screwed because they're not going to get the minutes.
So what I was going to say is, if we're going to be doing anything where Rathbone would put into, it would be that hybrid attacking midfield and winger kind of role. I would put him there. I wouldn't put him as a wing back. That's not something he's used. He's a traditional midfielder. He is, and he can play either further forward or the back. But the way he was able to slot in quite easily for Windass, that should be evidence in of itself to show you that he can switch out in between Windass and Rathbone. Easy slot in and out. For Dobson, the person, well, the best person I could really suggest for either Sheaf and James would have to be O'Brien and Dobson, really, for what we've got.
Yeah,
that's what I would go for, because Dobson is great with the breakup play, and with O'Brien, he's really good with carrying the ball forward or finding those passes. So he's a ball carrier and a passer. So he's got that. So he can help with a link-up play as well between either the left or the right. Either way. But I'd put him where Sheaf would be. I would put him where it's hard to say. Actually, no, I'd put him where Matty James is. Actually,
I think Parky might have an excuse of too many games happening at a short time to try out something. But unless we have some thrashing by some team, Parky is not prone to make major changes.
Yeah.
The problem is that we have some injuries as well.
Yeah,
so.
well, if we get injuries, all things change. But here Chris is saying it again. You all don't have to decide, but Parky does, and I don't think he can keep Rathbone on the bench. Okay, this is one of those things again. We say it in other situations. Okay, don't give me problems, give me solutions. Okay, you want Rathbone on the pitch? Tell me where. Tell Parky where. Parky's watching the show right now, sitting at home having a beer. He wants to know. Where is he supposed to put Rathbone? Now, I'm having a bit of fun. I'm not having a go at you, Chris. But I don't mind Rathbone actually swapping in for maybe Windass or someone late in the game and doing the final 15-20 minutes. Like, I think that's okay. But I just don't see, the positions have changed, and I think it's hard for some people to get on, and they're people we would like to play. Some people were saying it's time for them to move on. They're just not good enough. There are other people that have just lost positions because we seem to have moved style and changed, and there's mixtures that just aren't working, and it's harsh.
Yeah. It's not so good for them, but it's not about what's good for them. It's about what's best for the team.
Of course, yeah.
It's always about the team.
Yeah, and that's why you see Rathbone, I guess, just sitting on the bench, biding his time, and when he gets on, he doesn't cause a fuss. He doesn't say, "Give me the ball. I want to get a move to a different team." You know what I mean? He's playing as a team. He never seems to have any issue with his few minutes. And whatever few minutes he gets, he does his best, and he runs his ass off.
He brings his hamster wheel and scores a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just rather see 90 minutes of hamster instead of 25 minutes of hamster.
Okay. Esteban has the answer. Ollie's coming in for AO.
I think AA got a glove to that one too. The one they did score.
Yeah, it's always.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does anybody have any sort of major concerns with the period, especially where Preston were majorly coming at us, especially in that second half. Obviously, they came out after the second half, goal down. They had to push. They were coming at us. Anybody see any big problems or anything that you're a little worried about that needs to be tightened up or anything like that?
I think a bit. Sorry, I think a bit of our own fatigue contributed to that. Plus them throwing the kitchen sink at us, and besides changing styles, it was great to see so many subs today a bit earlier, which probably saved the game for us. I think. Well, it did save the game for us because we come good again at the end. We just had. There's a stage in every game you're going to be on the ropes, and everyone was saying, "Oh, we're sitting back," but I don't think we're actually sitting back. I just thought it was us being tired and them lifting. They lifted big time.
Yeah.
I think our back three are getting tired. They have had a pretty long stretch of games, and you could see that they're struggling towards the last 10, 15 minutes. So maybe something to consider to, give some kind of rest, rotate some kind of rest between the three.
I think we were more all over them at the end of the game than they were more all over us.
At the end, yeah, it's swapped around. I know. Have you anything kind of that we need to watch or?
I mean, it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. I mean, they were doing everything they can to get that first goal because you could tell whenever they were shooting, there were a lot of duds. They threw a lot of duds. They did. A lot of duds were coming, and when they got that goal, that was kind of surprising. That was so. It was like, where did that come from? But it wasn't the worst. I mean, you could tell there was fatigue building up, and it's probably because it carried over from the last match, and they're probably thinking about how this new system as well is going to work out for them. So it's a little bit of combination of factors as well, and the fact that we got three games in a row as well. So you're going to see a lot of tired legs, especially this system. It's very fluid and very aggressive as well. You could tell Matty James was getting tired as well.
Yeah,
Matty James he played the full 90 in both matches, and you can tell he was starting to blow as well. He was blowing hard. He was gassing out. You can see it with Thomason. You can see it with Longman. The system does require having strong legs.
No, I think we got to. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I heard someone else talking.
Yeah, I think Maddie's passes were getting picked off at the wrong places. I mean, he was going for the kill, but he was opening us up for some counter attacks. So maybe somebody will have a talk to him about, the percentages, especially if you lose a ball, even if it's at the opponent's box. If you're losing a box in the middle, it really opens up the game, and it's a bit of a risk reward.
That's an interesting point. I know I asked kind of negatives, but one thing I took as a little bit of a positive is our game management. In that this was the first time I actually think I saw the team have a bit of game management with passing, that they specifically tried to hold on to the ball and play passes to nowhere. They weren't in any particular rush to move forward. They were playing passes for the sake of keeping the ball. And they slowed things down and they kept the ball away from Preston for not huge periods of time. But you see some of the better teams with really strong passing do that for potentially the last 30 minutes of a match when they can hold on to the ball. Every time they get it, they will eat up 90 seconds, 120 seconds before they might end up moving the ball on. And every time they got it, they do exactly the same. We started a little bit of that tonight, and it's just nice to see that we're, taking care of new tactics, new issues, working with the new style. Don't want them to do that all the time, of course, but, nice to see that they're thinking about these things and giving themselves time to rest and get a breather, because everybody knows we're getting tired as a team. So Let's calm it down, get our breath before we go on the next big attack. But as you say, they didn't go pure defensive. They did then make that attack. They didn't hold the ball forever. They got a breather, and then they did go and attack again to try and get another goal.
Yeah, I think they had two separate instances towards the end of taking the ball towards the corner and giving the defense valuable breathing time. So yeah, that was really good, I think, and also our passing has improved quite a bit in the last two games. I think the team is getting used to our local turf now. I think every ground surface has its own unique, tells, and I think the players are getting used to the Wrexham Cae Ras ground now, and that's also playing into our hopefully a future home advantage in the second half.
Okay.
We got lucky ones too. A bloke took a bit of an air swing. I thought he was only a metre or two out from the goal. It was on the left of the goal. And he took an air swing. He might have just barely touched the ball. I don't think AO was going to stop that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got very lucky then.
Okay.
The thing that always gets me is now we're not hoofing it. We're not hoofing it anymore. That's what's getting me. Our passing game, it's going to improve because this system requires far more passing as well. It requires a strong passing game, and whenever we're in the goal box, we can just pass it out instead. We don't have to worry about kicking it out, and we only ever need to do that when it's absolutely necessary. But instead, once we get the ball, boom! Instead of just having to hoof the ball out and just wait for them to do that, we just pass it out to either Doyle, Max, and then we restart the attack again. We're already straight on the press. And you can tell immediately everyone knows, okay, we're going to start moving forward.
Yeah.
It's just constant. We're just constantly pushing them who we are. And you can tell that everyone's starting to worry about that. That we're gonna keep going forward this time. Instead of just sitting back.
Yeah, most of the hoofballs seemed to be right at the end tonight when we were trying to clear it out of the box and trying to waste time. And that's when it all really, really started. But you can fully understand that.
Yeah, you could see danger around it, so they weren't messing about. It's get rid. We'll reset and we'll worry about taking the ball back again.
Yeah. Get it past halfway, start again.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I think we're nearly there for tonight. I did start some comments, so I'm going to bring them up and just see if you want to add anything extra. Some of these we have already covered, so I'll just show them. Okay, so Billy Glassy, what's up with Ratbone? I think we've done a lot on Ratbone tonight, so that's fair enough. Okay, Mad Al. Anyone else concerned that Moore went straight down the tunnel? Was it groin or hamstring? So we spoke about this just a little bit. We didn't dig into it too deeply. Is anybody worried if he has to take 2-3 weeks off? And it's like the next 3 or 4 matches.
I am a little worried about that. Because he is that perennial threat up front. His hold up play and everything else. It becomes a threat. He's an aerial threat. Whenever we get into a set piece situation, everyone's like, "Oh no, we've got to watch them. We've got to watch them." And if we're trying to launch the ball forward, they have to worry about that because then they have to overload him. But then if they have to try and overload him, it opens up the space for that. But we don't know how. I think the system can work out well for Smith to try and see if we can get that working for him. And I did say this in the last match. It could actually work out in the last match with Sheffield on extra time that it could work out well for Hardy, but we won't ever know since he's injured. Yeah. But it's going to be hard to know. It can become a bit of an issue if Smith is not adapted towards this system. And then we're going to have to actually really need to look for another big striker as well that can do the same kind of role that Moore is doing.
Yeah.
Because if he is out and we have the next 3 matches and Smith isn't showing that kind of danger that Moore shows in his own way, then we're kind of we're going to need to get that. We need a big striker then at that point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not too fast. I reckon he'll miss one game.
Okay.
One game. That's it.
Right. Could this be one of those blessing in disguise scenarios where Parky will not take more off, and if he does, first of all, he may not continue with 3 up the front. If Moore's not available, he may just revert to type and go back anyway. So all of this then is almost irrelevant. But if he does persist and Moore isn't available for 1 or 2 or whatever, maybe it'll be interesting to see, can 3 boys without him pull off similar tricks up front? And can we make it work? You know, is he truly the only linchpin that will make this front 3 work? I hope not. You know, I know he's a big threat, but I hope others can manage, and I hope we can figure out how to play with 3 different people without necessarily being able to look for the head all the time if Moore is there.
It's going to force people to adapt, but as far as blessing in disguise, Macca was a blessing in disguise. Losing Kiefer Moore, I can't see how that's a blessing in disguise. I know it gives other people opportunities, but
okay, well,
there's a bit of difference.
There is a little bit of a difference in type, but it is also the same thing in kind, because obviously it's never going to be a blessing if we don't win. But if we do win without him, and we also prove that we can rotate and use other players, then it is a blessing, because we now know that we can rotate without worrying too much, you know, and then we just have more options. So that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I get that. It's it definitely benefits other players, especially if they can show, gives them belief. If they can make it work, it gives them belief, and that's great. But that's good for everybody.
They have to pull it off first, so it's not an easy. That's right. It's not an obvious answer.
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly.
Until it works, it's But if it works, it's great for everybody. It's great for everyone if it does work.
And look, take your silver linings where you can get them. If it happens and it doesn't work, then we have a January transfer window, don't we, where we need to find backup cover for Moore, and we might end up with 2 of them.
I think we do anyway.
We do anyway, but look, if we can't find them, we might not get them in January, so they might have to wait till the summer.
In that big Discord thing I did say I feared what was going on at the time was going to cost us in the transfer window, and I hoped that we could come good, like the other blokes have said, and it's happened, and I think everyone feels a lot more confident about January now.
Yeah,
it's a much better feeling than it was a couple of weeks ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just look way more attractive, I believe.
Okay, so follow up. Yeah.
And just Parky showing that he can maybe change his ways a little bit. 2 games in a row, so there's hope. He didn't go back to the...
There's hope, right?
There's always hope.
No.
Yeah. And it's 6 points, can't argue with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see a comment. The force changes are a blessing, and I think they truly are, because Parky sticks with his teams, and and now, he has found the best combination for this team right now by accident. And if Moore is out for long, we might have to rethink at some point. But let's not have bad thoughts now, and hope that it's a very short break for Moore if there is one.
Okay, so on this bombshell, right? I've got one. Let's see what Parky does in the next match if Moore is available. So is Parky going to revert to type, and because it's an away match and because he needs to rest some players, is he going to go defensive even if Moore is available? or is he going to stick with the 3 up front in an away? If he plays 3 up front in an away match, with or without Moore, whether he's available or not, that is a real sign that Parky has changed.
Yep,
and he's
I
changed
agree.
to the better for fun football. All right, guys, on that bombshell, let's get out of here. We will see you next time. Keep an eye out tomorrow night because it's very likely going to be a champ chat, but I have to talk to John and organize it, so it will be up soon. So if not, we will see you again next time. Next match coming soon. Take care, guys. Bye.
See you, fellas. Bye, everyone.